Hi, ek is Skyler Derrigan. Ek is liefde, ek is lig. Vat 'n bietjie van my sig. Vandag is episode 6 van Sielsoektog en ons het vir Kevin October. Hy is 'n software developer. Welcome.
Uh, Dankie. Skyler, it's good to be here. Good to be on Sielsoektog. Soek tog asseblief my siel.
Okay, so today we are going to get the male perspective on mental illness and give people a different perspective from both genders. So, Kevin, as a man, how do you view mental health? Is it something that one should ignore or self-medicate with sex, drugs, and alcohol? Or is it something you should attend to by finding healthy outlets like sports, reading, and building strong bonds with others?
Will I be a bad person if I say the first one?
Go for it.
No, I mean it's obviously you can't treat your mental health that's with all those first things. It has to be nurtured and cared for like anything else. In your body, your brain is obviously part of your body, and your soul is integrated with it. So I mean, if you can't have general health without your mental health as well, right? And let me just say, well, before we get started here, I don't mind Afrikaans, so gooi maar jou Afrikaansie in, but I'll be limited in my answers, but ek sal try.
Okay.
And the other thing I wanted to mention is that I'm not a professional, obviously a healthcare provider or anything like that.
Yes.
I don't have a lot of experience with treating mental health even really. I'm just an average guy, and I have all these issues that, well, not issues. It's not like I haven't been diagnosed or anything like that. I'm just your average guy, so that's just my perspective. But yeah, I think mental health should definitely be treated with your outlets, like you say, right? I think the way I see it is you have to do the basics,
So what are the basics for you as a man? Because today like I said, we are specifically looking at the male perspective.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I can't speak for all males, but I can speak
You can
for
speak
myself,
for yourself, yes?
So, yeah, when I say the basics, I mean, like, if you're thinking about the cleanliness of your body, right? You brush your teeth every day. You take a shower, brush your hair, you shave.
Okay.
And that kind of works the same in every aspect, for me at least, You have your daily routines, you have to do these small things that you can't ignore. Otherwise, if you stop and if you ignore it, it's going to get worse.
Okay.
So things like exercise, it plays obviously a big role on your health, but also your mental health.
Yes.
Exercise, meditating once a day, pray if you have that kind of relationship or whatever.
Yes.
And yeah, just general things that you do every day. Take time for yourself.
Okay.
Like you say, read, and yeah, you have to do those small things every day, and like journal, especially, right? But I mean, I know guys generally don't like to journal.
Yeah.
That's something I've always tried to do,
Yes.
journaling, and I like doing it. And I'm not very consistent with it. It's a habit, that you have to form.
Yeah.
And like I say, if you stop for a while, then you start keeping all these thoughts in your head. You can't
Yes.
make sense of it, and you're overthinking things, whatever.
Yes.
So that's kind of a habit that I would like to put in place actually more of to just sustain your mental health. But yeah, like I say, if you don't do it every day, it adds up, and that's a prime example of you should be doing it at least that 10 minutes in the morning just to write something, and then it kind of helps just to clear your head,
So how is your mental health affected, or what things or people or situations or substances affect your mental health, and how does it affect your mental health?
Let's say what kind of throws me off my game, right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah, so I know I have a problem with managing stress, right? I mean, maybe like 4 times a year, maybe less, but like I quite often get kind of overwhelmed and stressed, and then to the point where I shut down physically. You know,
Yeah.
like I get sick.
Yeah.
Like right now, I've got a cold, but this cold might have been brought on from kind of
From stress,
it's
maybe.
just stress, just
Yeah.
being on and working too hard and just maintaining like a high functioning lifestyle
Yes.
without taking a break.
Yes.
You know, and then your body kind of shuts down.
Yes.
So yeah, I do have that kind of problem shutting down, and it's triggered by these things: stress, overwork, not getting enough sleep, um, maybe conflict between people that can
Yes.
stress me out.
Yes.
Like if I'm going through something, I don't know, maybe there's some kind of disciplinary thing at work, or maybe some kind of big moment where I'm in the spotlight and I can't handle it,
Yeah.
or maybe I have to, let's say, ask someone for something that I need, but I'm afraid to ask it, and you know, that kind of pressure situations
Yes.
that acts on me heavily, I think. So yeah, those are my big examples. Um, I'm trying to think of something specific now, but
No, it's okay. So, how do you deal with family members who have mental health issues? Because I think all of us have a family member who has mental health issues. Sometimes the family member is diagnosed, sometimes the family member is undiagnosed, but there is always someone who has some type of mental issue.
yeah,
So, how
and
do
I
you
mean,
deal with that?
it varies by degree as well, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I always like to say we all mad. It just varies by degrees.
Yeah.
Right? So like it can be something as simple as, okay, I've got a little stress. I need to calm myself and just take a moment for myself, all the way to, you know, I have a disorder and
Yeah.
I need help, professional help. You know, which obviously everybody can benefit from some professional help, but the point is there's a scale, and I don't know, it depends on the person, obviously. I do have some people in my family, you included, obviously, that I mean, you know, friend circle, family, whatever, that are going through some serious mental issues, and the best I can do for them is just to kind of be there, understand the situation, you know, respect that they have this, you know, affliction or whatever you want to call it, that they are going through something and they would need some extra care, you know, and then just be there for them, even, you know, like when they need it, obviously, but also just kind of check in regularly, you know, are you all right? Are you okay? What's
Yeah, I
happening?
think the check-in is very important.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like I mean, if not once a week, then at least once a month, just say hi. You know,
Yeah.
because we have a tendency to just. I definitely have a tendency to like see what's in front of me. You know what I
Yes.
mean? If out of sight is out of mind, and
Yes.
if I don't see you regularly, then I might not even check in on you and say, hey, how's it going? Because I haven't thought about you in a while. I haven't
Yeah.
seen you, and there's no Facebook trigger maybe that says, oh, you posted something. Oh,
Yeah, that's I wanted to mention that now because that is actually very important because many times people are actually crying for help, but they're not going to tell you I'm struggling, but they're going to post weird messages on Facebook or on their WhatsApps or post, you know, awkward or inappropriate things. And you might think, no man, this person is looking for attention, but actually they're trying to tell you, kyk, so ek is nie alright nie. So do you look out for stuff like that? Do you think other people should do that? Not only for family members, but in general?
Look, I see it often. Someone will post something and it's kind of there's you maybe have a moment where he's posting a lot at the time.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe every day he's
Yeah.
posting something and it's usually some kind of positive message. But then underlying that you can see that a circle. You know, he's struggling, so he's trying
Yeah,
to be positive.
that toxic positivity.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I mean, it's obviously just him trying to cope, but then you can see, okay, there's something that's bothering this person, and sometimes you want to reach out and say, okay, what's happening? But you know, with that toxic positivity, like you say, if you want to call it that, people are trying to skirt around the issue. You know what I mean? They're not necessarily going to open up. And if I say, you know, I see your posts, is everything okay? Then they're not going to necessarily want to talk to you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of the problem with guys, especially. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we don't like talking about our problems. We keep things inside. Maybe we trust one person, which I mean, that's fine.
Yes.
But generally, especially if you're a single person, you live alone, maybe you don't have a lot of people to talk to,
Yeah.
and we carry that inside on our shoulders. And we retreat to our caves, and that's it. And then it leaks through on social media. But yeah, so what comes back to now again, checking in on people. Well, I suppose we're still busy with that, right?
Yeah.
You would want to check on people, but people also need to open up. You know?
Yes.
Guys have to realize, and I think the first thing to all of this is self-awareness.
Yeah.
You have to know how you're feeling at
Yeah.
any given point. Look inside yourself and just take 10 minutes and say, how am I feeling? Check in with yourself. You
Yeah.
know? Am I good? Is my space all right? Is my mental space all right? Am I feeling overwhelmed right now? That's a question kind of you have to ask yourself every day, and that's where meditation also comes in. Just at least 10 minutes a day, just sit and check in and feel your body, feel your mind, and check in with yourself and see how you're doing. And if you are struggling, you have to tell people. 'Cause
Yeah.
Otherwise, no one's gonna know. you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes, like you said, it's difficult for men to maybe communicate those emotions or feelings. But my advice to men would be is just tell people that you're not okay, or that something is too heavy, or that this is too much, and the people around you can then help you to find out, okay, what's wrong or what's missing, and you can take it from there, and things can improve.
Yeah. And on the other side of that is again like guys, it's almost we have a masculinity in this country. Like again, you want to throw that toxic word, but toxic masculinity, I guess. I don't know, but it's I don't know. You want to call it the what's the word now? The paternity or
Patriarchy.
patriarchy. There we go. There's a patriarchal system in the country where guys have to be seen a certain way.
Yes.
You know. And they have to be manly, they have to be in charge, they have to be in control,
Yes.
can't show emotions, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So even if a guy reaches out, he might not get the reception that he needs, you know. So
That is true, but that's why I'm saying, if men start doing that, even though they can't communicate it, if someone says something in a certain way, another man might understand what they mean, even though a female might not understand it, you know. Like saying, I don't like being married or whatever. It could be because he has all these responsibilities. It might not be that he wants to cheat on his wife. So, I mean, as men, there are certain things that you know within each other without saying it, but it makes sense to you. So if more men come out and say, listen here, today's a heavy day, or I just need a break, that is how the conversations can open, and that's how you can become better at, first of all, reaching out, and then also seeking help from other people.
yeah, no, 100%. But like I say, with guys, it's very difficult. With like okay, in general, it's hard for a guy to reach out because he knows he might not get what
the help,
he
yeah.
has the feeling that he needs to take care of himself.
Yeah.
But also people, in general, would look at the guy and say, "No, you take care of yourself. You're a man. You know, do your thing." And even again in your friend circle or just among men in general, you like guys. If you reach out, guys would slap on the shoulder and say, "Let's have a beer," and then we're good.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And okay, that might be your way of healing.
Yeah.
And okay, like time spent and
Yeah.
have a beer and let's have a fun night and
Yeah.
just stick away from your problems, and that's
Yeah.
how we deal with things, you know. But it's also doesn't get to the root causes, and you don't have that kind of conversation. And guys, it's very difficult to have those conversations with guys amongst each other. If you're lucky, you have a couple of people that might be more open and more talkative and just more, comfortable to be around to share your emotions with. And I'm lucky that I actually have at least one or two guys that are like that I can be vulnerable around, you know. But it's not always the case for most guys.
So let's use you as an example. What would then happen in that dynamic? Okay, say you reaching out and you're reaching out to them. What kind of things would you say, or what would you say to reach out to them, to show them that, hey, I'm struggling a bit?
Well, I mean,
Just an example, like a random example.
So my brother-in-law, Brent, I'm very tight with him, right? We go for tennis once a week, or we try and go for tennis a week. It's like I say, not that consistent, but yeah. So that's I have a check-in with him, you know, like that we use that time. We don't see each other maybe that often, or if we don't play tennis, we don't catch up really, you know.
Okay.
So I'd use that time and say, like, how's things going? How's work? How's life? How's the wife? The child that just had a baby, and so on. And then he'll check with me and say, what's going on, and then I'm venting. So it comes back again to like doing these things, the small things
Yeah.
consistently. Not just like waiting until you have a breakdown to
Yeah.
reach out. Rather have something consistently, or like every week when you're playing tennis or whatever, and
Yeah.
say, do a check-in and say, what's up? Let's use the space.
Yeah, so then it's also a safe space for you because you know that you can go to him at any time.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, that's a
So-
great example.
Yeah, but I mean, like he's an example of a very powerful kind of friend that I have.
Yes.
The relationship that I have.
Yes.
Where it's rare. It's not that common among men
No, it isn't.
to have that kind of relationship, and I can't say I have it with a lot of other guys.
Is it important to be compassionate and understanding rather than being, like we said now, toxic positivity? Is it more important to be compassionate than to be, the world is yours, you should be grateful, you don't have these issues, da 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 da.
Yeah, the platitudes that people.
Yeah,
do,
yeah. Which one is better?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I think an honest conversation is always going to be better than a platitude, Like, I mean, people walk down the street and say, how's it? They don't mean how you're doing, They just want to greet.
Yeah.
So it's rather have a actual conversation. So, you see somebody who's dealing with something and say, oh, it's going to be all right in the end, or trust Jesus, or
Yes.
whatever, and then it's, I mean, it's all good and well, your intentions are well,
Yeah.
are good, but it's not what that person needs. They might be going through some heavy stuff, and you
Yeah.
can't just tell them, oh, it's going to be okay in the end, and that just kind of minimizes their issues, And I'll get this a lot where people will say, oh, you know what, everybody goes through that, oh, yeah, I'm feeling very stressed out today. Everybody's stressed, don't worry about it. Like, that doesn't help me.
Does it feel like you're being dismissed? Does it feel like
Exactly.
your emotions are not being validated?
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't help me. I feel like you minimizing my issues. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. I'm not being validated. Everybody feels that way, but the point is, I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm telling you how I'm feeling. Empathize a little.
Yeah.
Let's talk to me, connect. Because I mean, we live in a fast-paced world, man, and people don't have time, and they're dealing with their own issues.
Yeah.
And after COVID, everybody's gone a little bit crazy, I think.
No, everybody definitely lost their minds.
Yeah. So it's people are worried more about themselves than ever before. I think. Because I think mental health and wellness, it's an issue now more than ever, and they need to sort themselves out, and they just don't have the energy for other people. But yeah, like I say, with the platitudes, okay, cool, that's fine. But I mean, you need to have a deeper understanding, connection, conversation with your friends.
Yes.
I mean, we're all friends. At the end of the day, you need to nurture your connections.
Yes.
If I come to you with my problems, and you consistently tell me, don't worry about it,
Yeah.
everything's good, I'm not going to come to you eventually. I'm going to say, no, this person doesn't care about me.
No, they don't, yeah. What is it that we can do to help men deal better with their mental health? You've already mentioned a few, like having the structure and having a friend that you can vent to, and also someone that can check in.
Yeah.
But what are some other things? If you think about your workplace, maybe a romantic relationship, maybe in the family, and maybe just as a friend, or
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert. I can't imagine putting programs in place. I'm gonna leave that to smarter social scientists and whatever, or just activists. But yeah, I can't think of all those things. But like I said, for me, it's just the individual level. Like we need to destigmatize mental health, I guess, in general, right? People need to be made aware of it. And like, I mean, at work, for example, they might say, oh, we're bringing out the wellness program. We need to take care of the people at the workplace, and it's something that they just need to tick off as an exercise to say, oh, is there a wellness program in place, and it doesn't really do anything necessarily, but okay, it's helpful to have. But
Is that where they offer you a mental health day?
well, no, so something like, okay, we have resources, or maybe we're instituting a program where, okay, there might be once a month we do a wellness check-in. I don't know, it depends on the specific program.
Oh,
that you
okay,
put in
because
place,
I know
right?
some companies, they give mental health days.
Yeah.
So if you're not feeling well and you suffer from mental health issues, that you can get a mental health day or 2 mental health days because you're struggling. So it's not that type of policy, it's just a program.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm speaking in general now.
okay.
So, but yeah, look, I mean, sorry, I'm I'm knocking it down there now. But obviously, it's a good thing to have those kinds of things, and that's what we should be having, right? At least some awareness. If you don't have a mental health policy in your workplace, for example, then you already, I mean, it's better to have one, right?
Yeah.
To kind of address these issues. For men specifically, I don't know. Mental health in South Africa needs to be addressed to all, I guess, but for men specifically, I don't know. You do have to nurture your relationships. I think that's the only way. Guys need to talk about it, right? We need to, as a society, and as a male gender in South Africa, we need to be more vulnerable. I think there's a overemphasis on masculinity, the patriarchy, right, in this country, and we need to kind of break that. We need to, but I mean, we don't have to topple the patriarchy now. You know what I mean? I mean, it should be, but I mean, we don't have to go that far. We just have to recognize that mental health is just as important, if not more, for men as well. You know, then and that men do need help. You know, we have to recognize that. And we can't do it alone. We can't go through this life alone. We can't handle stress on our own. It's something that we have to do together. I don't know. There's also I think there could be more. I don't know if they are even, because I don't know. If they are kind of, you know, like these AA groups, like, you know.
They are.
You know,
They do
support groups
exist.
for
They
men,
are
you know?
support groups. They
Yeah,
are
yeah.
support groups.
So I mean, if they are, then where are they? You know,
They are.
that they should be made more
No, they are.
more visible, I think.
Yes, I agree with that. I think the fact that these groups already exist, I don't know them off the top of my head, but I've seen them advertised on television. I've seen them on Facebook. It creates a safe space for men. Usually it's created for men who are against GBV, for example, or men who are HIV positive, but they want to live a healthy life. So those groups exist, but these topics should be discussed. It should become the new norm, you know,
Yeah.
so that men can, as you say, be vulnerable without being perceived as weak. Because to me, vulnerability is a strength.
Yeah.
And women should also not think that men are weak when they want to open up. Because a lot of the times, the women also discourages men.
Yeah.
No, don't talk about that, you're a man.
Yeah. Comes back to patriarchy.
Yeah, so we also play a part in it.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So guys, yeah, we need to find that support groups, and I don't know if they need to be that specific, but I mean, whatever helps for you, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, also people need to kind of normalize therapy as well. I mean, therapy is expensive though in this country, but
It's free with Cape Mental Health.
it is free with Cape Mental Health. Now look at that. There's support, right? Now that's what these wellness programs should be teaching us. Where are the resources? What can we do, right?
Yeah.
It all comes back to awareness. What are the channels? Recognize self-awareness, you know, but also awareness of what's out there, support-wise. Like, can you see a therapist? Maybe it's not as inaccessible as you think, you know. Maybe it's not as bad as you think to go to one. I've been told I can benefit from psychology for years now. I've never gone, even though I know on a very high level that I should And I mean that's also it's a man thing. I don't know if it's a man thing or if it's just me personally, but I
I
think
think
it
it's a
is
man thing.
definitely a man
I
thing
think it's a
as
man
well.
thing.
It might be a colored thing, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I mean the stigma is real, right? On a personal level, I mean, I've always considered it to be too much of cost, too much hassle, too much day out of time out of my day. But also, I mean, to be honest, I'm not prepared to go in there and talk about myself so much. You know, I'm scared of it.
You don't have to be scared.
Yeah.
It can only help, not harm.
Yeah.
Okay, any final thoughts?
No, I don't know. Just thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us,
Yeah.
giving us some views from the male gaze. I hope the men who are listening today will go and seek help or find help if they do have issues. And I also hope that your relationships will become stronger and more compassionate and understanding. Thank
Yeah,
you.
man. Give your bro a hug.